Attention gamers. There comes a time in every hard-stuck silver player's turbo virgin life where he has to take a look at his champion pool and say, okay, I've had my fun on this bird riding bisexual or the horny hay bag, but the win rates are suggesting that maybe this isn't your ticket to climbing the ladder and becoming even more addicted to this piss pit game, so you decide to take a break from guiding others on how to properly lose LP on fiddlesticks and you look for some brain-dead champs and builds that the dumbest of beginner bots can excel on. Champs that let you just run at people with no regard for proper play and things work out. Champs that you just can't wait for your 6th birthday because it means the kids your parents are making you hang out with are finally going to get dicked over, and today I'm going to share my top 3 most 0 IQ required picks for having an impact without needing to have a brain. And for the first game I'd like to introduce the company shoving singles in my bra for this video. Professor. A free app gives you more information than census data when it comes to League of Legends. In Champs Selected gives me a rundown of my teammates and their skills, which is great until all it has to say about me as a player is that I'm bad on Nunu. When hovering Champs it tells you the best bans while letting you import runes into your client without having to use your brain. Once in game you can see a full scouting report of all 10 players to know who is tilted and that I apparently just suck at this game. I like the in-game comparisons and summoner spell timer so that when Senna busts a nut to survive one conversation with me, I can note that she won't be able to do that again and jump on the next opportunity to tell her about my current Tinder loss streak. Post-game it gives just a butt-ton of business analytics for you to get better as a player, and it's all free, so check it out today and let's get into that actual Malphite game. Alrighty Bob, now for those of you with sponsor block, the first no-brain champ is AP Malphite support, and the early game strategy boils down to waiting for your stone condom passive so that you are protected to walk up and roll a bitch blunt against some malnourished dude wearing mascara who thinks he can trade with you. Rinse and repeat until both you and the support are in worse physical health than the 46th President of the United States, which means it's a first jungler bot wins type of situation, as they are now caught out with their floppy dicks in their hands just waiting to face those indecent exposure charges. And remember when I said these builds work for someone with no brain that does dumb shit? Bam, I flashed for some extra damage before we chased Billy Joel Armstrong away, and I watched my ADC exhibit levels of greed on par with someone who starts a crypto project around zoos and breeding fake animals. Once you get your ult, this is when you can lean way back in your chair, toss a Theo Von podcast on the second monitor, cuff your entire dick and balls in one of your hands because you won't be needing it when all you need to do at this point is press that alt key and watch Obama's wife get zombie bombed. Now anytime that ability is off cooldown I'm like a bloodhound just looking to beat up a bitch. Like my first name's Chris and there's a 2009 Rihanna in the passenger seat yelling at me, so I play a little I don't need to see you to shit in your mouth Senna, and another free kill is earned. This lets us get dragon as I then shift my focus to Beyblade Boy while letting my Nunu cook, watching him accumulate a nasty amount of snot while taking the scenic route towards Talon's Taint, which honestly would have been the perfect pick if Gangplank didn't take 3 centuries to set up a friend for his barrel before just desk popping the stun shitter, but we still got the trade. Then I come back to lane and decide that this 0 IQ pick is better with a little cheddar as we try to bush cheese only to get revealed, but I think who gives a shit if they know I will just push the damn button anyways, and sure enough the babe with the big gun melts like an ant under a magnifying glass, and by the time my ADC starts shooting shrapnel I am ready for another flash Q combo for the double. At this point the very complex strategy that needs to be executed in order for us to win fights boils down to see Senna then push ult, and from full health she just pieces the fuck out. The bot lane towers both decide to bail and get drinks together apparently, so the party moves towards the rift equator and I'm thinking I can gank for some more bank, but he's playing too much like a pussy until I realize who gives a shit, I'll try it anyways, and then I remember this is total bullshit what I'm playing. I think the play is done until Nunu comes speeding in a school zone straight into Ratchet Rifle Rebecca, who gets chomped and stomped for Samira's double. At one point I didn't have my win fight button off cooldown, but I saw a Senna and thanks to my sugar daddy I knew she didn't have flash, so I decided to rub it in that I had mine before murdering her, and then I peaced out before dying. Anytime I would see either bot lane or on the rift I would plug their location into my GPS and Amazon Prime me some hydrofluoric acid because I would be needing to dispose of some bodies in my near future. And while my ult was more of a sure thing than a slutty drunk prom date, I could still one-shot 3 people with my E as long as I casted it at the same time as a Nunu ult. I could now just roam around and expand the pool of players that I would kill as I held my ult on Talon until I saw him eyeing up a wall like Dr. Disrespect would eye up a 12-year-old, and then I say nah, you probably shouldn't. And thus the first example of a totally no-brainer required pick. is in the books as Game 1 ended in an easy dub. The second brain-dead pick in this video for Degenerates is first Strike MF in the ADC role with the strategy of maxing E and making it rain on bitches all lane phase. With just one little titted AP book and her passive, it's so easy to CS. Even a mildly intoxicated Ms. Kiff could get at least 6 CS per minute while you just wait for fat traveling ballsack looking supports to arrive in lane, bringing a muscular manifestation of the coronavirus with them as you merely tickle their carry to death for your first kill. Occasionally I have to take a break from the mind-numbingly boring farming simulator to show that I apparently am always carrying thousands of rounds of ammo in my skin-tight slutty elf outfit, and I can distribute every last one of them from an absurdly safe distance. Once I get 1 to 2 items every time I throw a laxative up into the sky and it shits down on the enemy, they lose like a third of their health, which is enough for my support to step up to the plate and bunt a bitch bind to the wall combo for me to secure another kill. Sometimes me and the boys randomly start to feel territorial over a patch of tall grass, and any Chinese bonbon eating boy who steps near them is fin to get knocked up and fired, no pun intended, from his job as a living support. When teamfights break out, I need you to remember that these are no brains required picks by someone with no brains, which is why you see me pacing around like a dumbass donkey until finally I post up and land an arguably sexy ult on a bunch of them before continuing to prove how stupid you can be while making this work as I drink some piss, get a kill and make it out alive. Turns out number 5 from the Umbrella Academy is now a champ in the game, and while I have no clue what that bitch does, I do know my ult still indeed does inflict damage to her. Racking up a high kill participation is piss in a pot easy because I just pop a single E on the ground and then continue on with my boring League of Legends mandatory errands while racking up assists from afar. The game starts snowballing out of control because I'm not continuously funneling gold up the enemy's assholes like I usually do, because I can deliver 90% of my damage from like 8 miles away, so even when I'm deeply overextended I can still execute the apparently autistic librarian. One other thing to note: when I decide to show and tell my ult at the worst times and have to put it away for another day, I can show how much movement speed this champ has, which keeps me safe from whatever the fuck that champion is throwing at me while delivering so much burn I don't even have to look her in the eyes as I kill her. The purple booger does nab me something old and something borrowed as I carry out the ceremony with something dead and a build that's not exactly new, which has my enemies begging to go next and play against someone not rocking this infuriatingly easy champ to pop off with. Game 3 is CDR Ashe support, where it's nearly impossible to miss the W you can shoot off every few seconds until after a few minutes the enemy bot laners are both so low you'd think it's a Diabetics Anonymous meeting that ran out of snacks, which means it's hunting season for my ADC. I smell something fishy mid, and it's not my lack of accuracy, as all I have to contribute is 1 W to slow a hoe and amp my Jinx's damage, and then I prove that my involvement can be even less as I get carbonated right after landing a single auto to keep that carp feeling lazy enough to get caught and cigar barred by my pervy uncle. After a total stomp in laning phase we head to Middle Earth, or Middle Rift I guess, as the poke fest continues until little portal Patricia is looking like she would be real receptive of a 600-ton arrow straight in that anime dork looking face. I don't really worry about warding or positioning as I can just follow around the posse, because all I have to do is land my Mendingo-sized skill shot, which opens up a world of slow for any king of the ruined simps, aka free assists all around. At one point I caught that hoe wearing a dead Teemo carcass as a hood and had to slow her down so that me and the boys could tell her how fucked up doing something like that is. By mid-game my W is already on a 3 seconds cooldown, so I can weave it in between auto attacks without having a clue where I should be positioning or who I should be attacking, as I'm just keeping everyone slow, which, unless your name is Graves, is also keeping everyone on my team safe. When Aurelia tries to be a bitch ass and insta-give my ADC, my mere presence of frosty mint tic-tacs being distributed down her pie hole is enough to keep us alive. It's easy to kite when Ws are coming out of the oven every few seconds, and the enemy butt buddies will grow increasingly reckless until one dives out of the shadows just begging to meet his maker, which opens up all sorts of opportunities for me to vandalize my way into the enemy base and take their nexus. And with that, try any of these picks if you lack a severe amount of brain cells like me, and enjoy your free wins. Brush your teeth tonight, Rav out.